Close your eyes for just 5 seconds. Imagine that darkness never lifting. No faces, no sunsets, no text messages, no colors. Just a quiet, permanent, blank screen. Now imagine a doctor walking up to you and saying you can have your sight back, but only for exactly 72 hours. What is the very first thing you would look at? Today, we are breaking down a profoundly moving chapter written by one of the most remarkable human beings to ever live, Helen Keller. Welcome to our next layout, 3 Days to See. Helen Keller lived in a world of absolute silence and permanent night, but her life was anything but dull. Even without sight, she found hundreds of fascinating things to interest her through the simple power of touch. She could feel the delicate, perfect symmetry of a leaf. She would pass her hands lovingly over the smooth skin of a silver birch tree, or run her fingers across the rough, shaggy bark of a pine. Every spring, she would touch the branches of trees hopefully, searching for a tiny bud, the very first sign of nature awakening from its long winter sleep. And occasionally, if she was incredibly fortunate, she could place her hand gently on a small tree trunk and literally feel the happy, vibrating quiver of a bird in full song. But despite all this tactile joy, Helen's heart constantly cried out with a deep longing to actually see the world. She realized that if she could get that much pure pleasure from mere touch, the visual beauty revealed by sight must be absolutely mind blowing. So she imagined a beautiful dream. What would she look at if she were given the use of her eyes for just 3 short days? She divided her 72 hours into 3 distinct parts. Day 1. The Window of the Soul. On the very first day, Helen didn't want to look at grand monuments or beautiful mountains. She wanted to look at the people. She wanted to see the faces of her friends, family, and teachers whose deep kindness and companionship made her life worth living. For her entire life, she could only see people by tracing the outline of their faces with her fingertips, detecting laughter or sorrow through muscle movements. She wanted to finally look directly into those eyes, the true windows of the soul, to see the warmth inside her loved ones. Day 2. The Miracle and the Past. On the second day, Helen would wake up early to watch the thrilling miracle by which dawn transforms the night, beholding with absolute awe the magnificent panorama of light as the sun awakens the sleeping earth. She would then devote this day to a hasty glimpse of the world's history. She would march straight into the museums to witness the grand pageant of human progress. Her eyes would gaze upon the condensed history of the planet, seeing how ancient races lived, and staring up at the gigantic, fur covered carcasses of dinosaurs and mastodons that roamed the earth millions of years before humans ever arrived. Day 3. The Workaday World. On the final morning, she would greet the dawn once again, anxious to discover new revelations of beauty. This time, she would head straight into the bustling workaday world, right into the middle of a crowded city. She would stand on a busy street corner, simply looking at everyday people going about the business of life. By watching them, she wanted to understand their daily lives. She wrote that seeing their smiles would make her happy, seeing their serious determination would make her proud, and seeing their struggles would fill her with deep compassion. But exactly at the stroke of midnight, her 3 days would be up. Permanent night would close in on her once again, and she realized that only when that darkness descended would she fully understand just how much she had left unseen. Because of this, Helen leaves those of us who can see with a powerful, haunting piece of advice. Use your eyes as if tomorrow you would be stricken blind. And she says we should apply this to every single one of our senses. Hear the music of a human voice, the song of a bird, or the mighty strains of an orchestra as if you would be stricken deaf tomorrow. Touch every object as if your sense of touch would fail tomorrow. Smell the perfume of flowers and taste each morsel of food with relish as if you could never smell or taste again. We take our world for granted every single day because we assume it will always be there. But Helen Keller reminds us to glory in every single detail and aspect of beauty the world reveals to us. Because of all the incredible gifts nature has provided, sight is truly the most delightful.